Welcome back, everyone. I'm Matt with Stout Sportsman. Today's video I'm going to be talking about my Palmetto State Armory PA10. Now this is their version of the AR10. This is it here. Now I did not purchase this as a complete rifle set. I purchased this as a separate upper and a separate lower. The separate upper they can send right to your house, no problem. The lower obviously has to go to your FFL to get a transfer done. So I'm going to start out with the lower on here. Okay, so this is the Magpul MOE Myad edition in olive drab green. So we have the 6-position adjustable stock here. Now this stock is a little different from what I have on my AR-15. That one's the CTR edition, which has that little lock that will lock this in place. Now this is locked in place, but you just have to hit the lever. Not a whole lot of difference. Ergonomically, pretty much the same. The lower I paid $179.99 for. Now mind you, this was probably 2.5 years ago, roughly, sometime I think around October of, I want to say 2018. So about 2.5 years old now. The only thing I've really done to the lower is add a ALG ACT trigger. I forget what the price was, probably somewhere around that $50 to $60 range. And it maintains that mil-spec look, but it's polished and it's got some kind of like boron or nickel coating, something like that. Anyways, the trigger pull it's fairly consistent, comes in right about 6 to 6.5 pounds every time, and it's pretty smooth. Just to show you here, we are clear, so I have a safe rifle to work with. And just to show you the trigger here, that's the brake, the reset. Very audible and smooth every time. Okay, back to safe. Alright, now to go over the upper. The upper I paid $299.99 for. So how it came does not look anything like this. I have since put on this handrail. I believe it's probably a 16 or 16.5 inch rail. This originally came with that plastic clamshell looking thing, kind of short and ugly. Like, think back to like the A-Team back in the 80s or whatever. Just that god awful looking handguard. I hate those. I didn't purchase the upper for that. I knew I was going to change the handguard out, and I wanted the stainless barrel. I wanted the 18-inch length, and that was the cheapest route to go. So since I put on, I believe this is a Midwest Industries handrail. Anyways, let's go over what that upper package came with. So you get the Palmetto State Armory, the Generation 2. It has a 18-inch 416R stainless steel barrel. It is chambered in .308 Winchester. Also will shoot the 7.62 by 51. It is a 10-to-1 twist, and it comes with the bolt carrier group and the charging handle. It's not the nickel boron bolt carrier, but it does the job. Okay. All right. What else do I have on here? I have the VG6 Gamma muzzle brake, and this thing is pretty badass. Definitely helps to redirect a lot of that blast to the side. Helps keep your muzzle end down for follow-up shots, and it works quite well. The only bad thing about it is it is extremely loud. When I'm shooting it at the range, if I have anything on the table to the sides of me, if it's not strapped down, it's going to blow it off the table. That's for sure. I try not to shoot this at the range. If there's people to either side of me, it's not very nice to them, and it's very loud, and it kind of pisses them off. So I stay away from that. All right, what else do we have here? I have Dagger Defense pop-up sights. So these are metal or aluminum. I believe they're aluminum. So they're pop-ups. So you got the little button here, pops it up. It's pretty smooth. Yep. And up top, our main optic, we have the Vortex Crossfire. This is a 4-to-12 by 44 model. It's not the best optic in the world, but you know what? I also have one of these on my Ruger American 308, my hunting rifle, and never had any issues with it. They seem to hold a zero pretty well for getting banged around a bit. and the price point's right. I forget what this was, I don't know, 160 or 170 for the optic, but the 44 lets in quite a bit of light, and the 4 to 12 zoom, it gives you a good range there. Now I do have these mounted on P series. These are Nikon mounts that I had for a previous Nikon scope on a different AR build that I have. And what else do we got going on? The charge handle. Charge handle came with a standard mil spec, piece of garbage. And I put on the Radian Raptor. So 3 out of my 4 ARs I have a Radian Raptor charge handle on. The one that I do not is my Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. That was my first AR. Bought it just for the cheapness of shooting ammo, and just as a training tool to get used to the platform itself. So far it's been fairly reliable. The only issue I've really found is a couple of the mags. Like normally I run 20 round P mags and they work great. No issues at all there. I do have two of the 25 round P mags with the windows in them, and for some reason, I don't know if the feed lips or something's a little bit off, but sometimes I'll get a failure to feed. Okay, so I pretty much don't use those mags anymore. I also do have the 10 round P mag for it, and I also have 2 hex mags that I believe are 20 rounds. The hex mags work very well. They function. Everything cycles great. The only issue is when you have an empty mag and you hit your mag release, they do not drop free. So you do have to kind of rip them out. And the same thing with inserting a fresh mag with the hex mags. You have to slam it home pretty hard because that is pretty tight in there in the mag well. Other than that, it eats. I put probably 300 or 400 rounds of the steel case Tula, the Russian ammo, through it without issue. I run a bunch of Remington core locks through it. I run some Federal soft point through it. Mostly 150 grain type stuff. But so far it's fairly accurate, and it's not the lightest gun in the world, that's for sure. But 18-inch barrel with this platform, it's gonna have a little heft to it. So basically, as it came, I had basically $300 for the upper, $180 for the lower. So that's $480. You can get in. Well, you used to be able to get into one of these for $480. Ridiculous. I mean, you got to add your transfer fees on top of that. But as this sits with the muzzle brake, the pop-up sights, the optic, the trigger, the charge handle, right now, also the handguard, this is sitting right at $950-ish, maybe a little bit cheaper. But it's a great platform. It's definitely not the cheapest thing to shoot, that's for sure. Lucky for me, I do a lot of hand loads, so that reduces the cost a little bit. But that being said, I don't shoot this very often. I probably shoot it twice a year, and that's usually, I don't know, once at the range to make sure it's sighted in, and then maybe I might shoot it once or twice down in my buddy's camp. But really, that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments on this thing that I didn't go over, just give me a shout in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you. But overall, this thing is solid. This was my second AR platform, so I went from the M&P 1522 right up to the AR10, the Palmetto State's version of the P810 here. One other thing I do want to say, unlike an AR-15, the majority of them, unless it's a real high-end one, it's all mil-spec stuff, so you can buy parts interchangeable, not an issue. With these guys here, some parts are going to be compatible with it, but definitely do your research first, because there may be some parts for it that don't particularly fit the Palmetto State, that might fit like a Smith & Wesson AR10, or what other manufacturer it is, whether it's Springfield Armory. But double check to make sure that parts that you're purchasing are compatible. Like most of the triggers, you're good to go. Like the stuff you really probably want to worry about, obviously your charge handle is different than an AR-15. Like some of your bulk carrier group stuff like that, definitely double check. But other than that, one thing to add also, this lower did not come with a magazine, so just a heads up there. But I hope you guys like this video. Like, subscribe, and come back, catch some more content from Scott and myself here on Stout Sportsman. Take care, guys.